Hampshire made an immediate return to the top of the second division of the LV County Championship after they raced to a 278-run win over Leicestershire at Grace Road shortly after lunch on the final day, when the home side collapsed dramatically. The game was set up very nicely as the last day began, with Hampshire on 306 for 8 in their second innings with a lead of 342. Somewhat surprisingly, Jimmy Adams kept his side batting, and that allowed Matt Coles to play some shots off jig and Nake as he added to his overnight score of 53. This was the pick of his shots as he and Danny Briggs quickly added 32 runs in 21 balls. That included this maximum for the left-hander, who was soon on to 83. When he was out, stumped by Niall O'Brien off Nake for his highest score as a Hampshire player, Adams called them in with a total on 338 for 9, which left Leicestershire a minimum of 90 overs to chase down 375 to win for the first time this summer and to send Hampshire to their first defeat. It was a fair target given the way this pitch had played throughout, with a lot of batsmen making decent contributions, even though Coles' 83 was the best made by anyone. Greg Smith knew the importance of a good start for his team, and he began very brightly with 21 runs coming off the opening 2 overs, 13 to Smith and the rest to extras. Carl Abbott then made his side favourites with 2 wickets in 2 balls at the start of his second over. Angus Robson was out to the first ball he faced, with an edge behind to Michael Bates, before Ned Eckersley fell next ball as he was trapped in front for a golden duck to put Abbott on a hat-trick very early on. Ramnaresh Sarwan ensured that the South African wasn't able to celebrate that particular achievement, but the Leicestershire captain now knew that his side were up against it. There certainly wouldn't have been any sign of panic at this stage though, especially as Sarwan began to play some nice shots, taking the total to 42 within the first 10 overs of the chase. Things just needed to settle down a bit for the home side, who required a solid partnership to really get things going. That though never happened. After making 15, Sarwan was LBW to James Tomlinson, a big wicket as far as Hampshire were concerned. They had lost their place at the top of the second division table on the previous day after Worcestershire had beaten Essex inside 3 days. Hampshire were going well here, even though Smith continued to look good at the top of the order. Briggs was brought on in the 16th over, and in his third he had Josh Cobb legged before, in spite of the big lunge forward. Coles then continued his good game with a nice catch off his own bowling, as O'Brien horribly misfired his shot. It took some effort from the big man to hold on. Remarkably, Leicestershire was 6 down by the time lunch was taken with 72 runs on the board, as Rob Taylor was also out to Coles 2 balls later with a leg glance that was just too fine, allowing Bates to complete the dismissal. 2 wickets in the over prior to lunch were then added to in the second one after the break, as Smith's resistance was ended on 39, with Coles striking again with a ball that stayed horribly low. Now it was all but over. Leicestershire not aided by the surface all of a sudden. Briggs fired one in to the rough to have Nake edging to James Vince. And then the left-arm spinner, in his first game of the summer, yorked Anthony Ireland as Leicestershire lost a 5th wicket with the score in the 70s. It was an amazing collapse, and it meant that the match was done and dusted within half an hour of the restart. Briggs bowled Nathan Buck, and in a flash the game was finished. The innings had lasted fewer than 32 overs, with the home side dismissed for just 96, Briggs taking 4 for 13 and Coles 3 for 24, as the visitors won by a comprehensive 278 runs. Leicestershire had lost for the first time and collected 5 points, while Hampshire, who've now won half of their 6 games, claimed 22, which puts them 12 points clear at the top and 45 clear of third place, although they have played a game more than the rest.